Right, good evening and welcome to my Weekly 10 show. And tonight I'm going to be talking about overwhelm and how to stop overwhelming yourself and to start performing at your best. And so how is everybody feeling today? I mean, it seems that there's a lot of people out there today, or every day, are very stressed out. And I've had several conversations today with various different people in various different places. And there's a common theme amongst everybody I've spoken, or not everybody, but a lot of people I've spoken to. And there's a lot of frustration, anxiety, stress sort of bubbling around. And the conversations I sort of had were with people saying they've got too much on their plate right now. I can't really talk right now. Everything's a bit hectic. And it seems to me that's a common theme, because I don't know if it's the time of year or whether it's just a general thing, but it's from my experience, it's a normal thing to find ourselves getting overwhelmed and stressed out in society, in life, in work, whatever we do these days. And that's for a multitude of reasons. And this is what I'm going to go through tonight. But before I do, I just want to mention that I'm still available for one-to-one coaching. I'm also doing group coaching, and I do workshops, seminars, and live speaking events. And I'm also, this week, I've been talking to a publisher regarding my book. So that's going to be out hopefully very soon. And if you sign up for my mailing list, you're going to get a signed copy, but you also get free excerpts from that book, and up until when it obviously comes out. So if you're interested in reading a bit about my book and getting regular updates and stuff regarding that, then sign up for my mailing list and you'll receive those. So how does this way of living help us? How does being stressed, anxious, overwhelmed actually help us in any way? So, are you actually able to think with clarity when you're feeling like this? Are you able to spot opportunities and possibilities and things that you can use to your advantage to push you forward in life, to gain something from your experiences in life, basically? Or are you actually just constantly clouded by all the stuff that's going on around you, and you're never really truly focused on anything other than what's going on here, there, everywhere? And you become too busy mentally to really focus on the things that really matter in life, actually. So and in fact, no, the quality of your performance generally, whether that be at home or at work, suffers because of this, because we become overwhelmed by pretty much everything that's going on around us. And it becomes, like this guy said to me earlier today, hectic. And you literally can't focus on anything. And as a result, it costs us. It costs us a lot. It costs us in our health, in our emotional health, in our mental health, in our physical health. It costs us. So the costs are actually very high to being overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, and not being able to truly focus on anything, one thing at a time. So you actually get a lot less done as a result of trying to do too much. Okay, so how can you actually reduce stress and overwhelm and function and perform at an optimal high level? How can we do that? So, well, learning how to be present in the moment is key. Learning how to do that and how to master that is key. This means that you're improving your self-awareness generally, so that when you're able to recognize what's going on mentally, you're able to switch your focus to something else that's actually much more in line with what you really want to be feeling, which is calm, peace, happy, power, strength, all the good things in life, rather than stress, anxiety, and all of these horrible things. So being able to focus yourself in the moment is a key element of this, and being aware enough to be able to do that is also key. So as a result of actually improving on these areas, on improving on your awareness, improving on your ability to be in the moment, you'll be finding you'll be able to respond much more consciously to opportunities and situations that appear, which perhaps you wouldn't have noticed before, because you're focus wouldn't have been on those things. You would have focused on what's going on next week, or what's going on in 3 hours, or what's happened yesterday. You won't be focusing necessarily on the moment. So you'll be focusing everywhere but now. And that means that you don't necessarily see things that happen right now, and you miss opportunities to move forward and take advantage of those things. So your concentration and your focus improves when you actually master these things. And you are able to then perform at a much more consciously high level. And that means that you're performing at an optimal level. You're performing at a high level. So how do we actually increase awareness? I mean, this is the, everyone can say, oh yeah, I want to be more aware. But how do you actually do that? Well, centering in the moment is one way. There's lots of different ways we can center in the moment. You can look them up. There's loads of different ones, and it works differently for everybody. Meditation, breathing techniques, listen to the music. There's lots of things. Exercise is another one. There's lots of things. It's an excellent way to block out distractions and to create a mindset which is free of stress, basically. So we can do that. So, but the main thing is what we actually focus on. So it's easy to say, oh yeah, we'll just have to ground myself and become more aware of what I'm thinking. What we're really truly focusing on is what you really want to be looking at if you want to be able to get rid of overwhelm, stress, and anxiety. Because we're really actually mentally focusing on things all of the time. And because of that, our minds are always full up with all sorts of stuff. And that's why we find it hard to switch off. That's why we overthink. That's why we don't get to sleep at night sometimes, because we're busy. Our subconscious is busy unwinding and letting out all this stuff that we've built up over however long. And there's different types of focus, you see. So you can have a narrow or a broad focus, a narrow internal focus, a narrow or broad external focus. There's different types of focuses. I'll give you an example. So if you're focused on getting a job, perhaps, and then that would be what's called a narrow internal focus, because you're focusing on something that's quite narrow but internal in yourself. A broad focus would be, for instance, if you're focusing on the long commute to work in the morning, something like that. So without getting into the technical terms, there's different types of focus which we all have. And you don't necessarily have to know the difference between one term and that term and everything. But the point is that we all have these focuses going on at any one time. And they're the things that distract us. They're the things that create overwhelm. Because we're never really truly in the moment. Because we're too busy focusing subconsciously on things that are distracting us. Like your commute from work to work. You might not be thinking consciously about that, but when you're at work, but if it's in the back of your mind, and you're thinking, oh shit, I have to go home and it's going to take me an hour and I can't be bothered. Guess what? Your energy is going to drop and you're not going to do as well as you usually would if you weren't worrying about something like that subconsciously. So, and again, if you experience anxiety when you speak to a co-worker, for instance, or something like that, that's also what you'd call a broad sort of internal focus. So there's lots of different types of, distractions that can happen when we're in any environment. It doesn't have to be at work, it could be anywhere, which can then create a loss of concentration and a distraction from away from where we really truly want to be focusing, which is of course your work and performing at your best. So by recognizing these mental distractions, that they're there for a start, and we're creating them ourselves, we're creating stress, we're creating overwhelm, we're creating anxiety. We might not be able to identify these straight away, but they're there. They're all in the back of our mind, hidden away. So the common source of mental stress is having too much going on at any time. So that will create mental blocks, it will create mental stress, and this leads to our energy dropping, that leads to you becoming overwhelmed, that leads to you dropping your levels of performance at work or wherever you are. And that over a period of time will become quite a problem. So what we'll attempt to handle, when we attempt to handle like whole loads of different things at once as well, we think we can do that. We think we're multitasking. We think it's possible to multitask. Multitasking is a myth. It's not true. You can't effectively multitask. What you're actually doing when you're multitasking is nipping from here to there, nipping from here to there, and you're spreading your time from one thing to another. So quickly looking at that, quickly looking at that, but you're never really focusing on one thing at a time. And then what happens then, there's two bad things actually happen here. We don't devote as much attention to any one thing at any given time, and the result of that, the quality of your overall performance drops, and the work that you're doing doesn't represent what you really want to achieve. And that's a consequence of trying to multitask, because we've got too much going on at any given time in our mind. So if you really wanted to perform at your best in an optimal way and clear your mind of all of these sort of blocks and obstacles, or whatever you want to call them, that prevent us from actually seeing things with clarity and focusing on the things that we truly want to be focusing on, concentrating and being in the moment. If you really truly want to do that and learn how to create a mindset which is focused on the moment all of the time, so that you're aware of what you're doing all the time, that gives you the power to then create what you want and perform as you want, and then be successful in everything that you do, life generally. So it could be at home, it could be at work, it doesn't matter. So if you're looking to do that, then really what you have to do is get to the nitty gritty of it and find out what these mental blocks are that are holding you back and remove them. Simple as that. And it's not easy to do on your own. So, and I've tried, and I did try, but this is why I have a coach myself, you see, because you get to tap into intuition, you get to see things much more clearly, you get to see things from different perspectives which you hadn't seen before, and it's important to be able to have the ability to do that. So if you're looking to perform at your best consistently and really start moving forward in this area without the overwhelm, without the anxiety, without the stress that holds us all back, then I'm available for one-to-one coaching, and I'm available for group coaching as well. And the other thing I do is I do workshops. So if you're interested in a sort of a work sense, it'd be a good idea to have a workshop around this sort of thing, because it helps improve productivity in all areas of your life. And ultimately, that's what we all want. So I hope you've gained some sort of insight into why you're feeling overwhelmed and how you can actually do something about that. And I'll hopefully speak to you all next week. See you soon. Bye.